Imagine an advanced civilization, a city more powerful than any kingdom of its time, a place filled with incredible architecture, advanced knowledge, and unimaginable wealth. A civilization that was said to be thousands of years ahead of the world. But then, in a single day, it vanished. No survivors, no confirmed ruins, no clear evidence. Just a story that has confused historians, scientists, and explorers for more than 2,000 years. Some believe it was a real city hidden beneath the ocean. Others believe it was just a legend. But one question still remains. Did Atlantis actually exist? Or was it the greatest mystery ever created? Welcome to Unknown Depths. Today, we dive deep into one of the most famous mysteries in human history, the Lost City of Atlantis. The story begins. The first known mention of Atlantis appeared more than 2,000 years ago. It was described by the famous Greek philosopher, Plato. Around 360 BC, Plato wrote about a powerful civilization that existed thousands of years before his time. According to his writings, Atlantis was not an ordinary city. It was a massive island civilization located somewhere beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Many historians believe this referred to the area near the Strait of Gibraltar. Plato described Atlantis as a place unlike anything the ancient world had seen. A kingdom filled with enormous buildings, advanced engineering, powerful armies, and incredible wealth. The city was built in rings. Water channels surrounded the land. At the center was a massive temple dedicated to their gods. It sounded almost impossible. A civilization that seemed too advanced for its time. According to the legend, the people of Atlantis were incredibly skilled. They understood architecture. They built huge structures. They created a powerful navy. And they controlled a large empire. Some stories claim their technology was far beyond other civilizations of that era. They were described as having knowledge of the stars, oceans, and engineering. But there was a problem. Their power made them arrogant. According to Plato, the people of Atlantis became obsessed with control and expansion. They wanted more territory, more power, more influence. And eventually, they angered the gods. The day Atlantis disappeared. The most famous part of the story is how Atlantis ended. Plato claimed that in a single catastrophic event, Atlantis was destroyed. Earthquakes, massive floods, and violent natural disasters. The entire island disappeared beneath the ocean. A civilization that took thousands of years to build was gone in one day. The ocean covered everything, leaving behind only one question. Where did it go? For centuries, people searched for clues. Explorers looked at maps. Historians studied ancient texts. Scientists examined the ocean floor. Everyone wanted to find proof. Because if Atlantis was real, it would completely change our understanding of ancient history. It would mean that a highly advanced civilization existed long before many known ancient cultures, and that possibility captured the imagination of millions. Over the years, many places have been suggested. Some researchers believe Atlantis could have been near the Atlantic Ocean. Others suggest the Mediterranean Sea. One famous theory connects Atlantis with the ancient island of Santorini. Thousands of years ago, a massive volcanic eruption destroyed much of the island. The event was one of the most powerful eruptions in human history. Some believe this disaster inspired the story of Atlantis, a powerful civilization destroyed by nature. But there is a problem. There is one major issue. No confirmed evidence of Atlantis has ever been found. No verified ruins, no ancient artifacts, no clear location. Nothing that proves the city existed exactly as Plato described. This raises an important question. Was Atlantis a real lost civilization? Or was it a story created to teach a lesson?
Because Plato was not only a philosopher, he was also a storyteller. Some historians believe Atlantis was created as a warning, a story about what happens when a civilization becomes too powerful and too arrogant. But the mystery doesn't end there, because even today, explorers continue searching the oceans, and every new discovery raises the same question. Could the remains of Atlantis still be hidden somewhere beneath the waves? For more than 2,000 years, the story of Atlantis has survived. Kings and explorers searched for it. Scientists studied it. And countless people wondered, could a city that disappeared thousands of years ago still be hidden beneath the ocean? Because if Atlantis was real, it wouldn't just be a lost city. It would be one of the greatest discoveries in human history. A civilization that existed before many known ancient empires. A civilization that vanished, leaving almost no trace behind. But the biggest question remained, where could Atlantis actually be? One of the most famous theories connects Atlantis with a small island in the Mediterranean Sea. The island is called Santorini. Thousands of years ago, this region was home to an advanced civilization known as the Minoans. The Minoans were unlike many civilizations of their time. They built impressive cities, they created beautiful artwork, they had advanced trade networks, and they developed a powerful maritime culture. Some researchers believe this civilization may have inspired the legend of Atlantis. But then, something catastrophic happened. Around 1600 BC, a massive volcanic eruption occurred near Santorini. It was one of the most powerful volcanic events in recorded human history. The explosion was enormous. The center of the island collapsed. Huge waves spread across the surrounding seas, and entire settlements were destroyed. A thriving civilization was suddenly weakened. Does this sound familiar? A powerful island civilization, destroyed by nature. A disaster involving fire, earthquakes, and the ocean. For many researchers, the similarities were impossible to ignore. Imagine standing near the coast thousands of years ago. You see the ocean suddenly moving backward. The water disappears from the shore. Everything becomes strangely quiet. Then, a massive wave appears. A wall of water moving toward you. The eruption near Santorini likely created enormous tsunamis. These waves could have traveled across the Mediterranean, destroying coastal communities, damaging ships, changing the future of entire civilizations. Some historians believe stories of Atlantis may have been inspired by memories of this disaster, a real event that slowly transformed into a legendary story. But there is one problem. The Santorini theory is fascinating, but it doesn't perfectly match Plato's description. Plato described Atlantis as being beyond the Pillars of Hercules, He also claimed it disappeared thousands of years before his own time. The dates don't completely line up, and the location is different. So while Santorini explains many parts of the story, it doesn't answer every question, which leads us to another possibility. Could Atlantis be in the Atlantic Ocean? The name itself, Atlantis, makes many people think of the Atlantic Ocean. Some believe the lost city may have been somewhere beneath those waters. Over the years, people have searched areas around the Azores, the Canary Islands, and other parts of the Atlantic. Some underwater formations have even looked like possible ruins. Straight lines, stone-like structures, unusual shapes on the ocean floor. And every time, the same question appears. Could this be evidence of Atlantis? The ocean floor is full of strange formations. Sometimes nature creates shapes that look artificial. A rock formation can look like a wall. A natural pattern can look like a road. An underwater structure can appear like a building. This is known as a natural illusion. Scientists have repeatedly warned that unusual underwater shapes are not automatically proof of an ancient city. To confirm Atlantis, researchers would need something more. Artifacts, tools, writing, human-made objects. Something that clearly connects a location to an ancient civilization. And so far, that evidence has not been found. The Antarctica theory. One of the more unusual Atlantis theories involves Antarctica. Some people believe Atlantis may have existed on Antarctica before it became frozen. According to this idea, the continent was once warmer. A civilization may have lived there. Then a massive climate change event covered it with ice, leaving the city frozen and hidden. It is an interesting theory, but mainstream scientists do not consider it supported by evidence. The biggest problem? The timeline. Antarctica has been covered by ice for millions of years, long before human civilizations existed. So this idea remains mostly speculation. How the Atlantis story never dies. Even after centuries of searching, Atlantis remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Why?
Because the story represents something humans have always been fascinated by. A lost world, a forgotten civilization, a secret buried beneath the waves. The idea that somewhere under thousands of feet of ocean, an entire city could be waiting to be discovered is almost impossible to ignore. And perhaps that's why every new underwater discovery brings Atlantis back into the conversation. Today, scientists use advanced technology to explore the oceans. Deep-sea robots, sonar mapping, submersibles, satellites. These tools allow researchers to see parts of the ocean that humans could never reach before. And every year, new discoveries are made. Ancient shipwrecks, lost settlements, unknown ecosystems, new species. The ocean is constantly reminding us that we still don't know everything about our own planet. So, was Atlantis real? A powerful civilization that disappeared beneath the waves? Or was it a story created by Plato? The truth is, we still don't know. There is no confirmed evidence that Atlantis existed exactly as described. But the possibility of lost ancient civilizations is real. History has shown us that many forgotten places can remain hidden for centuries. Cities buried by sand. Settlements swallowed by forests. Ruins hidden underwater. So the idea of a lost city isn't impossible. The question is Atlantis one of them? For thousands of years, Atlantis has remained between legend and reality. A story that refuses to disappear. A mystery that continues to attract explorers. But perhaps the biggest mystery isn't where Atlantis went. Perhaps the biggest mystery is this. Why did humans create this story in the first place? And what truth could be hidden behind the legend? In the final part, we'll uncover the possible truth behind Atlantis and why this mystery may never truly disappear. For over 2,000 years, the story of Atlantis has survived. A powerful civilization, a mysterious island, a city that disappeared beneath the ocean. But after centuries of searching, one question still remains. Was Atlantis a real place? Or was it a story created to teach humanity a lesson? Because sometimes, the most powerful mysteries are not the ones we solve, but the ones that make us question everything. The story of Atlantis became famous because it was more than just a lost city. It was a warning. According to Plato, Atlantis was once a perfect civilization, a society with knowledge, power, and wealth. But over time, the people became obsessed with control. They wanted more territory, more influence, more power. And according to the story, their success became their weakness. They forgot humility. They became arrogant. And eventually, their own ambition destroyed them. The gods punished them, and Atlantis disappeared. But many historians believe the real message behind Atlantis was not about a city. It was about civilization itself. A reminder that even the most powerful societies can fall. Even if Atlantis was not a real city, some researchers believe the story may have been inspired by real disasters. Ancient people experienced massive earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, floods, tsunamis, events that could destroy entire communities. Without modern science, these disasters would seem almost impossible to explain. A city disappearing overnight? A huge wave destroying a civilization? To ancient people, that could become a legend, a story passed down through generations.
And maybe Atlantis was born from memories of a real catastrophe. There is another reason people believe Atlantis could be possible. Because history has already surprised us before. For centuries, people thought some ancient civilizations were only myths. Until archaeologists discovered evidence. Lost cities, ancient roads, forgotten kingdoms, places that were hidden for thousands of years. Human history is filled with discoveries that changed what we thought we knew. So when someone says a lost civilization is impossible, history tells us, be careful. Because the Earth has a habit of hiding its secrets. The biggest reason Atlantis remains interesting is because the ocean is still largely unexplored. The deep sea is an extreme environment. No sunlight, extreme pressure, freezing temperatures, and conditions that make exploration incredibly difficult. Thousands of years ago, if a city sank beneath the ocean, finding it today would be almost impossible. Over time, buildings would collapse, materials would decay, sediments would cover everything. The ocean would slowly erase the evidence. And that raises an interesting possibility.
Maybe Atlantis was never found because there is nothing left to find. Or maybe it is still waiting somewhere beneath the waves. Even today, explorers continue searching, using advanced technology, sonar, underwater drones, deep-sea vehicles. Scientists can now map areas of the ocean that were once completely unknown. Every new discovery creates excitement. A strange structure, an unusual formation, a forgotten shipwreck. And immediately, people ask, could this be Atlantis? Most discoveries turn out to be natural formations or something else. But the search continues.
Because the ocean is enormous, and we have only explored a fraction of it. So, did Atlantis exist? The honest answer is, we don't know. There is no confirmed evidence proving that Plato's Atlantis was a real civilization. No verified ruins, no confirmed artifacts, no undeniable proof. But that does not mean the story has no value, because Atlantis represents something much bigger. It represents humanity's curiosity, our desire to discover, our belief that something unknown might be waiting beyond the horizon. And maybe that is why this story has survived for thousands of years. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not where is Atlantis. Perhaps the real mystery is why are humans so fascinated by lost worlds? Maybe because deep down, we know our planet still holds secrets. There are places we haven't seen, stories we haven't uncovered, and discoveries waiting to happen. The ocean is a reminder that even on our own planet, there are still unknown worlds. A city beneath the waves, an advanced civilization lost to time, a mystery that has survived thousands of years. Atlantis may be a legend, or it may be a memory of something real. But until someone finds undeniable proof, it will remain one of humanity's greatest mysteries. A story between history and imagination. A question without a final answer. And perhaps that is exactly why Atlantis will never disappear. Because somewhere beneath the endless ocean, the idea of a lost world still lives. This is Unknown Depths, where every mystery has a story, and every story leads deeper into the unknown.